past 11 o'clock. Yes, and you're welcome to Surviving Sickle Cell. My name is Ayek, and I have a special guest with us today. And as always, Surviving Sickle Cell is done in collaboration with Sickle Cell Foundation Nigeria. Today, I have Dr. Michael Uchenna, aka Nweke. Did I get it right? Kind
Yes.
of.
Yes.
Yeah. Medical officer, Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. That's LASUTH in Ikeja. Dr. Michael is also the founder of Master Hand Touch Life Foundation. It's a registered Christian medical NGO. So you're very welcome to the show today. So today
Thank
we're
you.
going to be talking about the myths associated with the sickle cell disorder, and we're going to be debunking those myths. So I know the ones that I've heard, but I'd be interested in hearing the ones that you hear most commonly since you're in that line of work. So, can you tell us more about those?
Okay. Um, it's good to be here. There are many myths connected to sickle cell. One of those is that those that have this condition, they 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 are likely to die early, and also they are prone to being sick all the time. So
Yes. So that's a myth.
yes.
So what's the truth?
Okay. The truth about this is that um, depends on how these people are managed.
Okay.
Depends on the support they are given. Um, they can live normal life. They can live as long as ordinary people.
Like the average person.
Yes, yes, without actually dying early
Okay.
or constantly being ill, or so to say. Yeah.
Okay. So, I heard that, or I always grew up thinking that sickle cell was a disorder only black people can have. Is it true?
Um, that's another myth.
Okay.
Sickle cell, it's as it is now, it's found almost everywhere in the world.
Okay.
It's seen in South Europe. It's seen in Asia. It's seen in even America, South America, some parts of South America.
Okay.
But the thing is, majority of this condition is found in the sub-Saharan region of Africa.
Okay,
So,
and descendants from sub-Saharan Africa, right?
yes.
Okay.
So that's why believe
Stereotype.
that it is an African disease or Black African disease, so to speak. Yes.
Okay, so so many. I know I've heard the fact that because a lot of people who have sickle cell may have crises, they the pain management medication and stuff,
Yeah.
that they tend to be addicted, or they can get addicted to pain medications.
Yeah.
So is that realistic, or?
Again, this is not exactly true.
Okay.
These people, I told you that it's all about management.
Right.
Early diagnosis, family support, and being aware early of their condition, and also that's management, that especially getting the specialist involved.
Right.
Because from time to time they have to be taken to a specialist to evaluate their condition, and also to manage them in case, because the crisis they have can be mild to severe. So by the time it tilts towards a severe crisis, they have to be taken to a hospital, and where they are well managed, and before they return home. So yes, the course of the management, they are given some drug, and that help to alleviate their
The
pain.
pain, yeah.
And some of these drugs are steroids. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But as I said, it's all about management. It's not as if there is pumped into them. There is a graded dose. There's a
Yes. Yes.
yes. It's also is dosed. How they are given these drugs. So and it's controlled, and
Yeah, it's a controlled
it doesn't mean that they themselves now become drug addicts,
Addicted to it.
and also they are cancelled on how
Yes.
to also they themselves and their parents on how to use this drug, even when they are sent home, and these drugs are given to them
Given
as
to
take
them.
home drugs, on how to use them, the dosage and all. So it doesn't mean they become drug addicts as this yes.
Okay. So I have some more myths that I've heard of things that what we see as common knowledge, and I'm interested in you debunking them and breaking them down. But what other
Okay.
things do you hear more frequently, like on a regular basis? I don't know if you've heard of the myth that oh, sickle cell is contagious. Like, oh, this person has it. Don't spend time with this child or this person, or you may get it too.
Okay. Sickle cell disease is actually an inherited disease. It's an inherited red blood cell, disease. So when it's inherited, it's not contagious.
Right.
Okay, and also the let me also debunk the myth that maybe some say it's more on the males, or
Right.
some say it's more on the females. Actually the impactation, that the disorder is actually the chromosome is made up of 23 pairs. Okay, so the impactation, the point mutation is on the 22 the pairs of the chromosomes, and those 22 pairs doesn't have anything to do with sex, because it's the 23rd pairs of chromosome that is the sex program. Yes. So you find out that there's no gender preferences, so it's the same in males and also in females. And as I said, it is an inherited genetic condition, so it's not something that is contagious, that maybe if you draw close to someone that has sickle cell, that you get sickle cell, or you eat with them, so that goes to say that these people that have this condition actually need a lot of support. A lot of encouragement, because stigmatization really goes a long way in causing them depression, and that's also causes them not to survive as they ought to be, and also to be falling ill. But when they have that support, not just from family, even from the community, those that know, teachers and all, so they should always give them that support, and not discriminate them or stigmatize them.
Okay.
So yes.
So speaking of genetics, there's the myth that, okay, if you're AS, you have a very mild form of sickle cell. The fact that you have the trait, the sickle cell trait.
Okay. Thank you very much. Those that are AS are called carriers, or they that are carriers, are not they are not having the disease. It's just they are carriers. So there's nothing. They don't go through crisis. They don't fall ill, so to say. There's no problem with them. It's just that they have this trait, as it is. So it's just a very rare occasion, like sometimes in flights, maybe a very extreme condition, maybe pressurized. Those are in flights, and the flights, the aeroplane is not pressurized, well pressurized. Yes, so and the condition become very extreme. They may have, but it's very rare. So they are just normal, like normal human beings. So being an AS really doesn't mean anything in terms of having the disease. Yeah, being sickle cell anemia patient, no. But it's now, we take it into consideration when you are about to make the choice of who to marry.
Spouse,
yeah. So that's when it becomes very important, for us to, bring to your awareness the what risk is, yes, what is involved. It's not that we will want to, start to involve ourselves in your love preferences or your marriage preferences. It's just to lay the cards to you on the table and tell you the implications of you being an AS, marrying an AS. There's a 1 to 4 chance of giving birth to a child that have sickle cell. And when we say 1 to 4, it doesn't mean that when you have four children, then one of them. No. It means for every pregnancy, there is a 1 to 4 chance or 25% of having, a sickle cell disease child. And when you say 25%, it's actually a very big,
it's almost 50.
Yeah. So, and you find situations whereby people have 2, 3 children and they are all sickle cell. Yes, sickle cell disease children. Yes. So that is why this genetic counseling and the education is out there. We are putting it out there. So people will be aware. Yes, even when this love something is going on, now before it goes to the point of no return, that you have to be aware there's a challenge we have, and then it's not just you or the unborn child. Even it will impact on the community and the society as it is now. It's a big burden to Africa, especially Nigeria. Having the highest population of sickle cell children, or individuals, in the world. Yes.
Okay, so now let's take it from like a religious perspective or a spiritual perspective. So people, I've heard 2 myths. The first one, which we kind of already debunked, is, oh, this person has a child that has sickle cell. This person has sickle cell. Oh, it's a generational curse, or there's somebody swore for this person, blah, blah, blah. They take the spiritual route.
Okay.
I guess, is that lack of understanding of how it works scientifically, or?
Okay. I myself, I'm a very spiritual person.
Yes.
Oh, okay, but it's wisdom. The Bible says profitable to direct.
That's right.
So it's you find that even some churches, if not many churches now, use a genetic testing, as a prerequisite for yes. So to beyond the spiritualities, because people's faiths are at a different level.
Right.
So I don't debunk or disagree with some people at the level of your faith or belief. It may work out for them, but we are looking at the generality of the people and being able to pass the message across to the entire society, or of the needs to be aware of this and the consequences of making a decision that will cause problem, especially to your unborn children.
Yeah, so I think I understand that perspective, but I think people see it, I guess they don't understand that it's a genetic thing. It's not that, oh, my great-grandfather sacrificed on this altar and now my granddaughter, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I think people have that conception, but I guess it's lack of knowledge. Yeah.
Yes, it is. As I said, before that, that is why we educate people.
Right.
We bring this to the fore, so people should know that this thing is what is inherited.
Right.
It is in your gene. It is not something that maybe you get from going close to somebody or because of what your grandparents did or so. No, it is what is already part of you.
Right.
And we try to do your best to make sure that it doesn't go on to produce babies that have the disease, which is actually a big challenge. If one has really come across a child, a sickle cell child that is not well managed.
Yes.
Remember, it's not that having the condition is a death sentence, as I've said before. Is that's not having parents that manage it well, and the child or the individual not getting the adequate support it should get. That makes it becomes a very big problem. They will be having the crisis often, and sometimes can lead to early death.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the SS genotype, can it be changed?
That's a big question. Yes.
When
yes,
the person has been born.
Okay. I cannot exactly say it can be changed because there's what we call bone marrow transplant.
Yes.
And this bone marrow transplant doesn't actually change your genotype, so to say. That's why you say the HBSS, can it be changed? That's why I'm hesitant in answering that question.
Okay.
Yes, it can make the person phenotypically become an AA, as in will not be having the sicknesses, the challenge, the pains, and all these things. You will be a normal person.
But the genotype doesn't change.
Remains. Remain SS. So that means the person will still not marry. Is advised not to marry someone that is an SS or an AS, because there's still a likelihood, though the person had been cured in quotes of the sickness, he still carries the gene in him or in her, so to produce sickle cell disease children.
So it can still be passed on. Now, speaking specifically for women who are SS, or the girl child that's SS, we hear the myth that, they can't get pregnant, or they can't have kids, or they can't carry the child to full term, all of these things.
Okay.
So does it affect fertility? Does it?
This is a very important question. Yes. Women that are BSS, that's sickle cell anemic women, they bear children like every other women. Yes. But the thing is, when they are pregnant, their pregnancy is seen as classified among the high risk. It's classified among the high risk. So so what we do, normally they bring them in early. Even before labor, to start managing them, taking care of them, so that, because we try our best to make sure that they are not under any form of stress during labor or during delivery. So there is they are actually helped through labor and delivery. So but talking about giving birth, conceiving like any other female or women, there's no problem there. But the issue is with men. Most of the men.
Do you know what I'm thinking? Because we have to go into a lot of detail with that. So let's take a quick break. Legacy is still surviving sickle cell. I'm still here with Dr. Michael Uchenna, aka Nweke, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
The Sickle Cell Foundation Nigeria. My name is Ek, and I'm here with Dr. Michael Uchenna, aka Nweke, and we've been talking about the myths associated with sickle cell and what people think. So before we took that quick break, we talked about the question of fertility. Women who have sickle cell, they can't give birth, they can't do this, they can't do that, and you clarify that, yes, they can. It doesn't necessarily affect fertility, but it's the issue of stress.
Yes.
So it's about managing the stress. But before the break, we now got into men who have sickle cell. So how does it affect them? Does it impact them in any way?
Okay. Again, let me clarify that we are focusing on those that have the sickle cell anemia disease.
Sickle cell anemia.
Yes, not when sometimes when they say sickle cell disease, they include those that are, the carriers.
They include AS.
Sometimes, although presently the WHO prefer that you use the word or the phrase sickle cell disorder when you are talking about when you're including those that are carriers. So the people we are discussing now is people that have the disease, the sickle cell anemia. Yes, so sickle cell anemia. So going to the males or the men, they have the challenge of actually giving birth, actually
fertilizing an egg.
Yes, yes. It's in rare occasion, that most of them go on to have to produce children. I don't know how technology of science has developed now, but as in the information I have presently, and the researches that are out there, shows that in many occasions, the men have challenge of producing
fertilizing
children.
an egg, and it's because of the count. They have a lower count than someone who doesn't have sickle cell. Okay. So we've spoken about that. Activities. I was always of the thought or the school of thought that, or what I heard or what I was taught is, children who have sickle cell, there's certain activities they can't do. So the running too much, they can't do this activity, but they can sit that one out. And in school, that's how it was. So that's how a lot of us even found out that one or two of our classmates had it. Because let's say we're doing a race or something, the teacher will say, no, they're going to sit this one out. So is that a myth? Is that something that we should look out for, or?
It's not a myth.
Okay.
Remember, I did mention that managing people with sickle cell, it's involved support both from the parents and from everyone else, even including members of the community.
Right.
And there are triggers to their crisis, and one of them is stress. So making them undergo stressful things, sometimes can trigger of that crisis. That's why we are mindful, when we are dealing with children or individuals that that have the disease or have the condition, in the kind of work we give them, or in the kind of exposure, because apart from stress, there are other things like exposure to cold, infection, and some other things that you have to be very careful and considerate. Not also be. Well, that's why I use the word careful. Because there's a way you do it, they will start feeling
take it personally.
Yes,
it hurts.
Yes. So it's something that you have to do together with them, making them realize, look, you are peculiar, you're special.
You're special.
Yes, not them seeing it from the point that they are being stigmatized, they are being separated from others. Just carry them along, tell them the reason why this have to be done. We have to take very special care, of them. Yes,
because you're a special one.
Yes. So it is true. We are considerate about the kind of work or the kind of even sports exercises we expose them to, so that we don't stress them too much.
Okay, so Dr. Michael, in like 2 or 3 sentences or in a few seconds, can you tell us what we should just summarize in the sense of how we are handling or how society sees the sickle cell, people who have sickle cell, the myths? Because you mentioned that, yes, it is damaging to people's self-esteem if you say things like, oh, I can't be next to that person, it's contagious. Or you say, oh, this one, she can't have kids. So what's the way forward? How do we change the way that we think or perceive this?
Okay, as I said, education, because how do you even define myth? Myth, yes, myth is falsely held views. There are views, ideas, or belief, that people hold on to, for long because they have been hearing it, but it doesn't make it true because it's not based on fact.
Facts.
So what we do is we educate them, educating people based on the fact. We bring the facts about these things to the fore, so that when they know the facts about these things, it will help to dispel the myths, so that it's easier to relate with these people. So it goes a long way when people understand, better about these people and are well educated. It helps a lot.
It goes a long way.
Yes, and also then I talked about support from parents, support from other people, then early diagnosis and management, taking them to a clinic and managing them, having their routine drugs.
Right.
They have their routine drugs whenever they have these challenges or their pains. You give them their drugs, and when it's severe, take them to specialists, take them to hospital.
All right, Lakers, there you have it. Thank you so much, Dr. Michael. This has been Surviving Sickle Cell in honor of our beloved Tosin Bucknor. If you have any more questions or concerns, tune in to us next week. Thank you so much, once again, and we'll see you next week. Bye.